r/Nosleep. Posted by u/ClosetedStranger. Room 234, The Closet of Lost Souls. Oh fancy. Is my first thought as I take a step into the room. There's a queen-sized bed with a huge window next to it. On top of the bed are bright red decorative pillows. There's a small wooden desk in one corner of the room and a closet across from the bed. I unpack my bag and shove my clothes into the closet, too tired to deal with the tedious task of properly putting my clothes away. The inside of the closet is pretty spacious. It has polished wooden shelves covered in dust and a couple of racks to hang my clothes. I close the closet door, quickly change into pajamas and flop onto the bed. Next to the bed is a small wooden nightstand with a little brochure resting below a small complimentary box of chocolates. It reads, "Welcome to the Hotel Non-Dormind. Built in 1739, this place is full of history. From far and wide we provide a home away from home. For room service please dial 555 to 242. We hope you enjoy your stay. Hotel Non-Dormind. The name rings a bell. Where have I heard it from?" My head sinks into the memory foam pillow and I breathe in its scent. It smells old and musky, yet comforting. Although the hotel is foreign to me, I feel surprisingly at home, almost as if I've been here before. I'll make a mental note to research the place tomorrow. After all, the brochure did mention that this place is full of history. As I start slowly drifting off to sleep, passing from a state of consciousness into a blissful state of pure relaxation, I hear the soft lulling whisper of a woman. "Huuush, my dear child." I brush it off as only my imagination. My mind barely registers a creak. I slowly turn my head, careful not to reverse my state of sleep back to full awareness, and see the closet door left slightly ajar. Huh, that's odd. I could have sworn I closed it. "You must sleep soon," the imaginary voice sings. I roll over and hear another creak. I open my eyes. Must be the wind, I think to myself. He mustn't be reviled by this chiiild tone. I ignore the imaginary lullaby, closing my eyes and trying to focus on my breathing. I feel a little chilly so I curl up into a ball, forming a cocoon around myself with the blanket. The cold is replaced by overwhelming heat. My arms and legs start to numb and I get the sensation that I'm falling bang. I jerk upright in bed to find that the closet door is fully open, having slammed against the wall. A couple of random splinters are scattered across the floor. How did that happen? The wind isn't that strong, is it? I hear something fall from inside the closet. The loud crash of what I can only assume was porcelain echoed throughout the small space. There is a man. He watches your dreams. You'd better watch you. He's not what he seems. Wait, what? I quickly crawl across the bed and jerk the curtains aside. I press my face up against the cold window and stare out of it for what feels like an eternity. I squint. I don't see a man. I don't think this woman's voice is real. She's probably just a figment of my sleepy imagination, a friend to keep me company and provide me comfort. I think I'm starting to doubt that. Hey, if she's going to be singing a freaky lullaby about some creepy stalker, I'm going to take any precautions I can, I tell myself. I close the curtains and turn my gaze to the closet. Damn it, now I have to get out of bed to close the closet. I sigh annoyedly before gingerly slipping out of bed, not even bothering to turn on the side lamp. The floor sighs heavily under my weight, but somehow I feel very light. The noise of rustling tree branches outside grows distant, yet it sounds thundering. Everything sounds muffled, except for the familiar singing. His eyes may seem kind. His words may sound true, but you will soon find he's misleading you. This voice, whether it's imaginary or not, is really starting to creep me out. Up until now, I hadn't registered how loud it had gotten. Despite the fact that the voice is screaming, it still hasn't lost its eerily calming tone. Although her voice sounds soothing, her words are ominous, and that's what terrifies me. Maybe I should get back into bed and go back to sleep. The voice would eventually go away if I just ignored it, right? I shiver. I don't want to close the closet door, but if I leave it open, my imagination will fill in the blanks of my mind with sinister notions of what may be inside. Doors that were left open a crack have always made me nervous. I always get the feeling that someone is watching me. My mind goes back to stories of monsters my mother told me when I was younger. Stories of monsters who lure in children and kidnap them, monsters who hide in the shadows and pounce when you least expect it. I know that nothing bad will happen if I approach the closet, but my mind has a way of scaring me when I'm in the dark. The voice I conjured up must have just been one of those things. As I continue to make my way across the room, I'm hit with an overwhelming sense of paranoia. Two more voices accompany the woman in her somber lullaby. They sound like a dark choir. He'll start to insist. He'll start to take hold. You have to resist. Don't cross the threshold. They scream this last line of the alarming lullaby as I reach the door. I peer inside the closet but can't see anything because it's too dark. The street lights outside cast shadows along the walls. I have a sudden urge to know what's inside before I close the closet door. I try to make my way towards the light switch, but my feet stand their ground, almost like they're forbidding me to do so. I need to know what's inside. I feel like I'm stuck in a trance. I need to know now. I don't care if I can't see anything, I'll just feel around, see whatever it was that fell. My movements feel slowed, almost as if some force is making me reconsider taking even the smallest step into the closet. My knees lock and I'm hit with a sudden feeling of nausea and dizziness. The women repeat their lullaby, although it sounds off. It's quicker this time. It sounds frantic and the tune has lost any sense of calmness it brought upon me before. Their tune is cut off by an eerie voice which fills my head. "Yes, sweetheart, come to me." I leap back. What the heck was that? I don't want to find out. I'm terrified, but if I leave it unknown, I'll be even more terrified. I take a step inside. The women scream in unison. My head starts spinning and I plummet into a deep pit in the floor. How is this even possible? I hear laughter all around me. It isn't the type of joyful laughter you'd expect to hear at a 6-year-old's birthday party. It isn't the cheerful laughter of a child. Or, is it? It's deep and high-pitched at the same time, with more than a hint of malice. It sounds both young and ancient. Familiar yet alien. The laughter morphs into two voices, one of which belongs to a child and the other sounds inhuman. I race towards the ground but I'm caught by a force. I slowly float down and am set down delicately onto a soggy red velvet carpet. My ears are ringing and my head is pounding. I take in my new surroundings. I'm in a dark corridor. It looks similar to the same one I walked through to get to my room. It feels dank and old, ancient even. The vinyl wallpaper is covered in what I can only assume are some kind of hieroglyphics. They're beautiful. They're decorated with images of odd plants in different shades of faded green, blue, pink and red. There's a funny-looking horse with a tail 2 times the length of its body pulling a beautifully detailed carriage. The carriage is wide and decorated with swirls of gold and, I freeze. Next to the carriage is a crudely drawn hieroglyphics of a tall, spindly man. The drawing looks like it was rushed, but the lack of detail sends a shiver down my spine. Was this done in crayon? I hear the child's laughter again. I follow the laughter down the hallway to a room left slightly ajar. The light from the room spills into the hallway. It is the only source of light I can see. I peer through the cracked room inside the room. A boy is sitting with his back turned to me. There are crayons strewn around him. I hear a second voice, although I don't physically see anyone else in the room. Maybe this kid knows where I am. I know I have to go in there, but I can't bring myself to do it. I shudder at the thought of talking to this kid. Why is he down here? How is he down here? He probably fell through the pit as I did. Why is he laughing? My only hope of answering any of these questions is to ask this kid. I take a deep breath. I softly knock on the door so I don't startle him. The faded gold letters on the rosewood door read, 234. Room 234? But that's my room. Go away. The boy makes a shooing motion with his hand. Now, what am I supposed to do? The lullaby echoes in my head and I soon find myself humming it. The boy whirls around. I wish he had continued to face the other way. The kid's neck is covered in scratch marks. His hands are caked with dried up blood. His dinosaur pajama bottoms are ripped. I'm scared to see his face. I don't want to. I know I have to. I have to see his face. I slowly lift my gaze to meet his eyes. I almost piss myself. His cheeks are bruised and his left eye is a faded purple, it looks like a healing black eye. There's a scar at the base of his messy hairline and he's missing a couple of teeth, which isn't out of the ordinary though, as not all his adult teeth had grown in yet since he's just a child. What wasn't normal was the huge open zipper on the side of both his lips and that ending at the corner of his lips. I stare at him in shock. "Come in," says a voice. It's the same inhuman voice I heard along with the kid's laughter earlier. I poked my head through the doorway but I didn't see anyone else. Where is this voice coming from? "Come in," the voice repeats a little louder this time. I cross through the threshold. I can see him now. Sitting cross-legged next to the boy is a tall, spindly man. It's the same man from the hieroglyphics on the wallpaper. He's wearing a large black top hat and his blazer is covered in blood. His arm is around the child's shoulder, who's now quivering. The man's arm is bent in a way that shouldn't be possible. His smile looked more like a slit that stretched from ear to ear. The child lets out a scream, and with one swift and precise motion, the man grabs the zipper at the corner of his lips and zips it shut. I notice a name tag on the left side of his chest. It reads, Valerian T. Peregrinus, Manager. Once you enter room 234 you'll be forever shaken to the core. From what? Nobody knows, for whoever leaves exits dead through the darkest shadows. I do suggest you heed my warning and do not enter until morning, or else your chances of departing are close to none. You don't want to join the rest in the closet of lost souls. People long forgotten lie deep within the hole. This was the message that the Hotel Non-Dormant's newest victim saw as they walked past room 234.